If you have anxiety, you've probably heard this concept described in many different ways. So I was just going to give my take on it. Some of the ways that this concept is described is letting symptoms in, not resisting your symptoms. Some people call it wearing your symptoms like a jacket. Just letting your symptoms be there versus resistance, versus fighting them off. Fighting is an interesting word, but it's used a lot because we're actually begging, please not right now. Or, we're doing it with fear, right? We're giving fearful responses, or I don't want to die, or, I need to get some sleep, or, I can't clock out early today, or I can't call in, or I can't pull over, I'll be late, These are the types of responses, and that's barely scrapes the surface of the responses that we give. I know all too well because I've got 5 years of experience there. But we're giving fearful responses, and I've said on this channel many times, anxiety, at least this is how I viewed it, anxiety is going to do the opposite of what we want it to do. If we want it to stop and we want it to go away and we plead for it to go away, we give that fearful response, what happens? What happens, right? 99 times out of 100, it gets worse. How many times have you begged your symptoms to stop and that actually worked? Maybe somebody randomly got lucky, right? And you were blessed that day. But for most of us, it gets worse when we plead and beg. Why? Because we are justifying that chest pain or that headache or those racing thoughts or the palpitations or the tension, whatever the symptoms or thoughts are. We're all different. We have different stuff, right? Our anxiety can manifest in different ways. We are justifying that message from the subconscious in the body, it's appropriate, right? That it's needed. And then that's how these various associations and triggers form. When I get into the car, please, subconscious, scare me out of the car, because we had that horrible experience and I responded in a fearful way. Your subconscious picks up on that and it's like, okay, for now on, I'm going to try to get you out of this situation because it's dangerous. You justified it whenever you fearfully responded to me, whenever I was nervous. So now I'm going to give you these symptoms when you get in the car. At night, you responded in a very fearful way, right? You didn't let things flow through you. You didn't give appropriate responses. So I'm going to scare you every time the sun starts to go down. And I'm going to give you warnings throughout the day, like nighttime's coming. We're not going to get any sleep, right? But you try to resist, right? You respond in a fearful way. You try to plead with it, bargain with it, beg it to go away. And I'm introducing to a few of you for the first time the concept of letting the symptoms be, right? Let them be there. Let them flow through you. In my experience, once I finally captured, this idea or this concept or the strategy tool, whatever you want to call it, tip, I noticed that my symptoms would go away a lot more quickly. If I fought it all day or resisted it or begged it to go away, it would drag out all day. And I'm here to tell you guys, this was happening to me day and night for probably about 2 years until I started to gradually get better with a bunch of other things go into recovery, right? Like I started to exercise, I got a routine together, I was working on my root causes. But a lot of this, guys, is just facing fear, right? And we have to show that this symptom or symptoms that we're getting in these certain situations are not needed by a proactive response. There's all types of different ways that you can, respond to your subconscious, your body, whenever you have these symptoms. You could do it with positive self-talk, self-love. Maybe it's tough love. I took this idea of inviting symptoms into the next level. For some of you that want to do extra credit and you're really sick and tired of this, I challenged the symptoms to intensify. That was really showing my subconscious that they weren't needed. I was telling my subconscious, go ahead, just bring it on. Let it happen here in the car. Let it happen during my workout, or let it happen, when I'm taking just whatever. I'm here. I'm not going to pull over, or I'm not calling in, or I'm not clocking out early. I'm not going to stop this workout. I'm not gonna, get out of bed. I'm gonna let these symptoms be here. And in fact, bring it on. My subconscious started to pick up on that, right? The same way it's gonna pick up on a less aggressive way of just letting the symptoms be there. Just stop the fighting and the resisting, right? Stop the fearful response. Just let them be there. Become more of an observer. View it as energy coming in and energy going out. The subconscious will still start to pick up on this over time if you're consistent, that, hey, the dude or the girl, if she ain't, he or she is not responding anymore. He or she is not entertaining, these cries for help or, these warnings that I'm scared or that we're in danger. They must not be needed. I've been trying to get Trey to jump out of the car, or to pull over for the past 2 weeks. And every time I push on him and prod and poke at him with chest pains or some of these symptoms, I've tried everything on him. He's hung in there. In fact, the past few days, he told me to give him more, that he'll show me that things will be okay. I'm starting to trust him more. So I'm going to back off, and you'll start to see these symptoms start to fade. Trust me, it does work, and you have to mean it, right? Especially if you're trying to ask the symptoms to intensify. It's not something that you can do half-heartedly, which is why I'm not sure if it's for everybody. You will get to that point at some point, but the place that you need to start is by not resisting. Let the symptoms be there. And something that helped me was visualizing it as energy. These symptoms are energy, right? We have good energy. We have bad energy. And those things pass through us. Nobody's perfect. But what do we do when we have the bad energy? We focus on it and we hold it. Whenever you fear that bad energy or fear the symptoms, it sticks. It stays. You make it the primary focus. You are entertaining it. Let it flow. For some of you, you can view your symptoms and your negative thoughts like traffic. You got good traffic, you got bad traffic. You got good-looking cars, and you got cars that are on the verge of breaking down. Let's say these negative thoughts or these symptoms are the ugly cars bumping down the road. Whenever you put your focus and your energy and your fear on those, what happens? It breaks down. Now you got a traffic jam caused by this symptom. Nothing good is able to get in now, and nothing bad is leaving. You see what I mean? So sometimes it's about visualization. I found that, looking at it as energy or traffic helped me let these things come in instead of fighting it off. I finally got it. But I would take it to the next level. And some of you, I encourage you to do it. Challenge them to get even more intense. This will help desensitize yourself to these symptoms further, but you got to be in a particular place to be able to do that. Again, it doesn't work if it's half-heartedly, but if you're just trying to get your foot in the door and to gain momentum, on a micro level, like a day, try to turn what usually is a shitty day into I just have a few crappy moments. Let them come in. Let them be there. Stop playing this game where you're begging it to stop all day. It doesn't work like that. It sucks, but it doesn't work that way. Let the symptoms come in. Let's start to gain some momentum here. Let's have some breaks, a few breaks. That's all we need. Some of you are just in constant symptoms. Constant symptoms. That tension, that doom, that terror, that heaviness, those symptoms. Let them be there. You fighting them off, or you think that you're fighting them off or running from, they're there anyways. So just let them be. Stop resisting. And I know what I'm saying is easier said than done. I get it. Trust me, I've been there, done that. It took me a couple years to even get to the point to where I would start doing this. You see what I mean? So I get it. It's easier said than done. I'm just trying to tell you what works. And eventually I was able to get out of that storm. So I believe in you guys. And there's so much more that does, that has to go in with your recovery. I mean, you still have to work on the root causes of your anxiety. You have to change your lifestyle. You can't be reckless. You need the exercise. You need to make sure that you're eating healthy. Grounding techniques and going to therapy. It's a lifestyle change, right? But overall, this is about overcoming fear. How do you overcome fear? You face it. I'm not asking you to be unafraid. I'm not asking you to not be scared. I'm asking you to be brave. I'm asking you to be courageous. to get your foot in the door with your subconscious and start building that trust. Then it's a snowball effect. It's all about momentum after that. If you want more help, guys, be sure to go down below in the description and the first pinned comment. My step-by-step process on how I got away from panic attacks, health anxiety, and generalized anxiety disorder is down there. Elite Anxiety Bootcamp. Helping tons of people. I want you to be a part of that. Here's a review from Jonathan Buffington. My panic attack started 5 years ago out of nowhere. I spent 3 years of my life in fear every day, could not be left alone. I refused to leave my house. I was in rough shape. After every test known to man and so many doctor's appointments, I found Trey. Over the year, he helped me understand my symptoms, everything from heart, stomach, dizziness, headaches, face numbness, without being judgmental. I truly do not know where I would be without Trey and his coaching. He is the real deal, and he knows what you are going through. If you're struggling with anxiety, give Trey a shot and try coaching or the boot camp. It changed my life. And with Jonathan, man, it just goes to show that if you work hard and you take the advice and you actually put in the work, things do get better. Something that I admire about him is his consistency and his work ethic. And we've been doing coaching for quite some time. He's probably 95% there. 95% there, which is incredible. He was willing to think months instead of days or weeks. So let his testament to the boot camp and the coaching encourage you to follow through with something. It doesn't have to be my program. It can be any program. But follow through with something and be consistent with it. And things will get better. You will get results. If you've never tried therapy, I mentioned therapy. There's a link for online therapy, so you don't even have to leave the house to do therapy. You can do it on the phone, right? They have video call options. Whatever you're looking for, they have it on there. And my coaching info is down below if you're interested in doing coaching calls with me to help me personally guide you out of this. That information is down below as well. I love you so much, guys. Until next time, keep fighting.